Hey everybody, so welcome back to Jim Bob's Garden. So today we are just about 6 weeks out from the projected last frost. It's usually right around the middle of February. This is the middle of, well, alright, 6 weeks out from the time I'm going to put stuff out in the garden, I should say that. Normally our projected last frost is somewhere here in Jacksonville, is somewhere around the 15th of February, but we typically, well, not typically, we sometimes get a late frost in March. So I don't like to put anything out till around March 1st, alright? So that's the time I'm going to be shooting for, so that gives us right at 6 weeks to get all of this put in the ground. So the idea with potting things up is to get a head start. So some of the issues that we have here in Jacksonville is that the summertime gets really hot. So you need to get your stuff out as soon as possible, but a lot of this stuff will freeze to death if you put it out too soon. So I got my little greenhouse over here, and I'll go ahead and get everything potted up now, put it in the greenhouse, keep it from freezing, and that should be sufficient so that we'll have a lot of good plants to put out right around the first part of March. Alright, so with that being said, let's get to work. So some of the things I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be doing some onions. Now I got these small pots here. I actually put onions in the ground, the seeds in the ground, to see what will happen, but I will tell you that for some reason I cannot get onions to grow direct seeded like that. So last year we did this because I hadn't had any luck with onions growing from seed at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and plant this up with some onions, and I'm going to try and get 4 in each pot. Thereabouts. The idea is to spread them out a little bit so that they have room to kind of get some roots growing before I pull them out and put them in the garden. Now, one of the things about the onion seeds is the package says they should be planted about 1/4 inch deep, and they should be planted 8 to 12 weeks before the last frost. So I'm a little behind on this, but that's alright. We're going to go for it and see what happens. Got a few more, we'll just sprinkle them liberally here. Now when it comes to onions here in Northeast Florida, we want short day onions because we want to get them started early, and apparently that's the ones that grow the best here in Jacksonville. Now onions should only be covered by about 1/4 inch of soil or so. Now that doesn't have to be exact. But we'll go ahead, just kind of cover them up a little bit. That's what I did last year and it worked just fine. Voila, then we just got to mark it. Which one was that? Onion flat. So now I know what I got, and we're going to set that aside. Alright, and we'll water all that in when we get everything put in the greenhouse. You like my little setup here? This was all some patio furniture that I found along the side of the road here in our little cul-de-sac, and I reappropriated it for my use. So we're not going to do all of these. I blew one away, I missed one. Alright, so I'm going to put that aside for now, and we're going to go ahead and do a bigger one. Now when I go ahead and I do these big flats like this, what I do is I go ahead and tap it down. And you see that gives you, you know, that 1/4 to 1/2 inch of depth there to plant stuff into. Alright? Now what we're going to plant in here is some tomatoes. Alright, and we're going to do half on each side. Now these are old seeds, but they came up fine last year. And I still have the seed. I hate to throw it away and buy new. So we're going to go ahead and try it again. Worst comes to worst, if it doesn't work out, I'm going to go ahead and I'll go ahead and buy some more seed or buy plants. Now tomatoes in particular, if you don't get them in fairly early, you may find that you don't have decent tomatoes by the time the weather starts to get ugly, real hot. And the tomatoes do like it warm, they don't like it real hot. It'll kill them off in the summertime here. So that is my Rutgers tomato, which is supposed to be one of the best ones around here. Now I can tell the difference between a tomato plant and an onion plant, so I just put on there basically the type of tomato that I'm planting. Tomatoes have a very distinctive smell as well. When the leaves, I mean. Oh, we'll wait on that. All right, so on this side, what else we got here? That's the Rutgers, and then the Homesteads. Both of these did very well last year. So we'll be planting a bunch more of those. Now you can see I'm putting a lot of seeds in here. I have plenty. I still have plenty of seeds, so I'm not wasting anything. Well, I guess I am wasting some seed. But the idea is that basically what's going to end up happening is I'll cut them back. And this way I can ensure that I'll have at least one or two good ones germinate. That's a Homestead. Now a lot of people online talk about how you got to have a rack and you got to have heat mat and you got to have this and you got to have that. Down here at least, that's really not necessary. Or, well, it hasn't been for me at least. If you got a southern facing window, and keep in mind, you know, I come from, well, I don't come from, but when I grew up, as I've said before, I grew up with a lot of different families, and all of them grew a garden. And one of the things about that was that none of them had a heat rack, none of them had a grow light, none of them had any of that stuff. All right, what they had was a sunny window, and inside room temperature in the house, which we typically keep the inside close to 70 degrees. I mean, especially down here, I don't really think all that's necessary. You can run into problems with them getting real spindly because they're reaching for the sun. If you don't have enough sun in your window, like an east facing or a west facing window. But with tomatoes, that's not really a problem. Now if you think that you might have to have some spindly tomatoes, just plant them lower. Start off with less dirt in the pot, and then what will happen is as they grow up, you can just sprinkle more dirt around them. Alright, and that will actually, they'll grow roots into that dirt, and it'll actually make them a stronger, healthier tomato. Alright, so that's my tomatoes. Alright, and once again, about a 1/4 inch deep or so. And then this is fairly moist soil. You can see I can kind of pack it down, alright, to start with. And the soil here is a mixture of my compost, some of my garden soil, and then some old leftover potting soil that I mixed all together. And it's just a really good potting medium. I know a lot of people worry a lot about what they plant their tomatoes in or what they plant their plants in, but really everything a plant needs to start is in the seed. All right, well, I won't go through the tomatoes. All right, what I will do is I am going to plant some munchers. I thought I had some. Alright, so we're going to do some cucumbers. And then some zucchini. Alright, now the zucchini and the cucumbers, I like to have at least these fairly decent sized pots here. Alright. I like to have them in the bigger ones like this, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do the zucchini first, actually. Let's do that. I'll put the zucchini in there. And we really like the zucchini. Came out really well, grew very well. So we're going to go ahead and plant these again. And let's say here, bush type. Let's see how seed. All right, seed depth on these is a little deeper. You're going to want them half to about an inch. So I'm going to dig a little pit in the middle, and then I'm going to put 2 seeds in each. If everything grows, that'll give me 12 plants if I can separate them. But I think 6 should be sufficient for me and for what I need. And then this year, I'm going to try and take one of these and I'm going to keep it inside the screen to keep the squash bugs away. And then what I'll do from there is I'll probably just go ahead and hand pollinate those. Hopefully we're going to have better luck with pollination this year, because we do have the bug hotel, which has got a ton of tunnels that they look like bees have started to nest in. So I should do better with pollinators this year. But you know, you always got to deal with the squash bugs. Alright, so we're going to go with that. And that's my long white of Palermo. Man, good thing I don't live in Italy, huh? Alright. So like I said, you want a 1/2 inch to 1 inch of soil covering these. And that should be sufficient, hopefully. I'm just going to pack it over. Now you can do this inside, but as you can see, unless you're very careful, it makes a pretty good mess. So I recommend doing it outside. Alright. And then I want to show you this too. So these are my tags that I used last year. Alright, so I go ahead and use them again on the other side, and hopefully by the time I need them next year, the stuff on this side will have faded to the point where I can ride over it. Don't waste it if you don't have to. Palermo zucchini. Alright, so there's that one. Now let's talk about cucumbers. I know a lot of people will tell you to plant your cucumbers directly in the soil, which is not a bad idea. But once again, they should be about 1/2 inch to 1 inch. So we're going to go down about yay again. Keep in mind that first knuckle is about 1 inch. All right. So as long as you're down about 1 inch down to that first knuckle, you should be fine. And also keep in mind that that's a guesstimate. All right, it doesn't have to be exact. All right, don't come out here with a measuring stick and try to measure it all out like that. You just irritate yourself, I think. But cucumbers is another one that you want to get planted as early in the season as possible, so that you actually have the opportunity to get some good plants and some good harvest before the bugs show up. And they will definitely show up. Alright, and on this side we're going to plant our straight 8. Now these are a much smaller seed, you can see, than those other ones. So we're not going to plant them quite as deep. Going to go closer to the 1/2 inch mark on these, I think. And once again, 2 per hole, so that if one doesn't germinate, the other one will, hopefully. Now, if you got plenty of seeds, you can do 3. You can always cut them back, and that's what I'll do. Is once I get 2 good plants, I'll just cut the weaker of the 2 and toss that. That's the straight 8. Now keep in mind too, it really doesn't matter if you've got these marked as far as what brand or what variety they are. I like to do it so I kind of have an idea of what's what. But I mean, it'll either grow cucumbers or it won't. So the only advantage to doing it this way is that you get an idea what seeds to get the next year. One does better than the other. Like I will tell you, it seems like the straight 8s and the Aonagas do the best. Though I still have the muncher cucumbers, which I will also be planting. All right. Here in a little bit. Alright, so that's cucumbers, that's squash, that's tomatoes, and then I'm going to plant, do I have any there? I'm going to plant some pepper seeds. What is that? That's Seminole pumpkins. We'll wait on those. So now I have here some different peppers that I got from a friend of mine who got from an aunt of his that passed away and left him the seeds. And we're going to try some peppers. Alright. And once again, these are very small seeds. And we're going to want to put Red Dragon Cayenne. Ooh, Red Dragon Cayenne. That sounds good. We're going to want to plant them fairly shallow. And as these are older seeds, you're going to want to put several in there because you don't know whether or not they're going to germinate. So these are the Red Dragon Cayennes. We're going to try and save some of these. He doesn't like hot peppers, so he gifted me all the hot pepper seeds. So we're going to see what we come up with. Now, when it comes to pepper seeds, peppers like it hot. Like 75 degrees or better. So you may not get germination right away. Be patient. The only thing I can tell you, just be patient. You may get some, and like I said, these are old seeds, so I don't even know if I'll get any. But we're going to give it a shot. I'll just put the rest of these in there. And make sure you put plenty of seeds out. And again, because they're small seeds, you only want to cover them a little bit. Just basically get some soil over the top of them. 1/4 to 1/8 of an inch, thereabouts. A lot of times, seeds won't germinate if they go too deep. Not sure why, that's just kind of the way things are. And that is the Red Dragon. So we're going to do peppers, and I'll do some more of this after I stop making the video. Which, like I said, I'll do some more of those peppers. Did want to mention that these are from my buddy next door. And I think that is pretty much all I'm going to do. I don't think I have any more of these. I may have to order some more. Okay. Oh no, I got some. I have 6 back. Mexican sour gherkins. Alright, cucamelons. There you go. These are a very tasty little snack when you're going around the garden. You can grab one and go. It tastes kind of like a cucumber, but kind of not. But I only have that many seeds, so I'm gonna hopefully get 8 plants out of this. So I got to be real judicious with my use of seeds. Put 2 in each. Oh, look at that, just enough for 2 seeds in each tray. All right, and then once again, just lightly cover. Then once I put all this in the greenhouse, I'll water it all in so they get moist and start the growing process. And keep in mind, you know, if you plant them, well, when you plant them, the soil is going to compact a bit. So you're going to have a little bit less than what you originally intended. Melon. These and cherry tomatoes are great because you can just walk around the garden, grab you a snack, and keep on gardening. Especially since I don't use any sort of fertilizer. I don't spray them with anything. I don't spray them with bug killer or nothing like that. So everything in my garden can be eaten on the fly. Alright, so here's my cucumber melons. And I'm going to plant a few more tomatoes. But pretty much that's what I got going on today. I'm going to plant some more tomatoes. I'm going to plant some more cucumbers. And then I think that's going to do it for me. Alright, so bottom line is, if you haven't started planting your plants, I highly recommend it. If you have some of your own homegrown compost, you can sift it out. Basically, I have a 1/4 inch hardware cloth on a frame, and I just kind of shake it and move it aside, and that keeps anything larger than a 1/4 inch from going down into the soil. So that way you get this nice, fine, dusty soil. And if you use your own compost, you got a lot of compost in there. You know, plus if I'm getting soil from the garden, I'll also have a lot of the compost and the nutrients and everything that was in that soil from last year. And then of course, you know, some of it is mixed in potting soil, though usually I have the potting soil from last year mixed with compost. You get the whole gist here, lots and lots of compost. But the nutrition of the soil really isn't critical until the plants start to really get bigger and start to grow. All right, and you can always add compost tea or various other things to try and juice it up a little bit if you don't feel like they're growing well enough for what it is that you're trying to get done. If you don't have a south-facing window or an east or west-facing window, you may want to look into getting a grow light and possibly some heat mats. But if you keep your house, you know, around 70 degrees or so, it shouldn't be an issue. You should be able to get everything to sprout without a heat mat. Again, you know, lots of families, lots of people I knew that gardened back in the day, and they used to take styrofoam cups, cover them with plastic, and have seeds in them. And then once the plants got up to the plastic, they take the plastic off and let them grow until it was time to put them out in the garden. So I've never had an issue. I don't understand why everybody feels like they have to have all this extra stuff to grow. You really don't. I do have the little greenhouse over there, but even that's really not necessary if you got a rack somewhere by a south-facing window. We don't have any south-facing windows except for in the 1 bedroom, and it's just in a weird spot. I can't really use it for gardening. That's the greenhouse. And the greenhouse, it set me back just short of $100. So you can get a greenhouse and get that set up and working for you. All right, if you got $100. All right, but that's what I'm doing. It's that time of year. It's time to go ahead and get something planted, so that way you'll have some food in your yard, so you won't have to rely on the grocery store. All right, so thanks for stopping by. Do me a favor, give me a like and subscribe. And if you're into buying t-shirts, I have t-shirts similar to this, not this exact design. It's this design, only bigger. All right, on sale in the Etsy store. If you're interested, please do me a favor. I'll put the link in the description. Go ahead and check that out. Otherwise, thanks again for stopping by and grow something. Something growing in your yard. All right, y'all take care and come back and see me.